Hello, people. It's your boy Ambassador again doing this thing. Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm sure you guys have caught up with the new trend with just my opinion. It's just me reacting on videos, giving my opinion. I want you guys to engage in the comment section, giving your own opinions too. So today the video I'll be talking about is Prince EA, where he says how the educational system is outdated.
Here's a modern day phone. Recognize it? Here's a phone from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Stay with me. Here's a car from today. And here's a car from 150 years ago. Big difference, right? Well, get this. Here's a classroom of today. And here's a class we used 150 years ago. Now ain't that a shame? In literally more than a century, nothing has changed. Yet you claim to prepare students for the future? But with evidence like that, I must ask, do you prepare students for the future or the past? I did a background check on you and let the record show that you were made to train people to work in factories, which explains why you put students in straight rows, nice and neat, tell them sit still, raise your hand if you want to speak, give them a short break to eat, and for 8 hours a day, tell them what to think. Oh, and make them compete to get an A letter which determines product quality, hence grade A of meat.
So he was talking about the educational system as a whole. I want to, as usual, I'll zoom in on Africa. So, first, what's the educational system we have in Africa? I think our educational system is mainly what I would like to call a training system to facilitate exploitation of natural resources. Here, that makes more sense. So it was a system that was put in place to facilitate the exploitation of natural resources in Africa, where it was mainly people studying basic skills to write reports and to be able to keep account and to manage the systems which the colonial masters put in place. But for some reason, the educational system did not evolve. So the system which Prince E is even condemning or criticizing is way better than what we have in Africa. So it's even worse because we have I'll call it colonial educational system which does not meet our needs. Back in the day, Africa had educational systems like what we had in Timbuktu. Some of the most famous and most equipped libraries were in Africa. The Egyptian educational system was something to look forward to. People traveled from around the world. Philosophers always came to Egypt. For some reason, all of those things died down. I don't want to go into the details of that. One is outdated, as I said. Secondly, if you look at the word education, which comes from the word educare, which is more of to bring forth, it becomes tricky because bringing forth, we have an educational system that does not bring forth, but instead pushes in or forces in. Let me explain. So bring forth was more of a system where, like the ancient philosophers had that system where they had the masters and the students. We had all the big philosophers had their students that used to follow them. They used to have very detailed and, should I call it, educative discussions, which was bringing forth, it helps you to think and then bring forth your own thought. So if we come up with a very, let me just use a basic thing, life after death. The big philosopher is going to give you his thought. Then you guys are going to have an exchange which will permit you to fine-tune your own thinking with regards to the concept of life after death. That's what they did with almost everything. So it was a system which was to facilitate the process of all your students to think. But our educational system is one which the master or the teacher just has a copy of notes and he reads them down to you, pushes them down your throat, you memorize them, and then you regurgitate these facts. There's little or no thinking in the educational system. There's little or no creative thinking. We're just memorizing things and then spitting it out. That's what the ranking system and educational system is all about, is being able to, who memorizes the most. It's not who is able to think and to solve problems the most. So that's what kills the African system. Because one, we are not encouraged to think. Two, we are not encouraged to solve problems. That was the main purpose of education. At least the word educare at the time. But I'm going to look for the Greek word for forcing down, which is going to be the best way to coin our educational system. So we have the dynamics of pushing down thoughts into your mind and not permitting you to think and express yourself. So it leads to most of the problems, the pillars of development which we have, like education, health, food security. The African does not, or our educational system does not really train us to solve those problems. Our agricultural sector, Africa has like the most arable land, the most useful population. That's a stable combination to ensure that we have food security, create jobs because we can now export even some of this food. But for some reason, we have the highest hunger, the highest poverty. It does not add up. That's just the paradox of Africa. I think it also starts from our educational system. A lot of these things fail. Our health system is failing because of our educational system. Our food security is a problem because of our educational system. So all of these things, we need to take it, and as I said, the role of this generation is going to be to educate, to sensitize. The main mission behind all of these videos I'm making is just to get people thinking. Please listen to it. You may agree with me, you may not agree with me, but please just think. Give in the comment section, give your feedback on what you think about educational system. What is the problem about it? How can we solve it? How can we make it better? As Africans, we need to take ownership of our problems and hence take ownership of our solutions. We cannot always export or outsource that responsibility of solving our problems. So, as usual, it's your boy Ambassador. I'm out.
Just my opinion.